You said STD match?
That's actually a genius idea. That's a multi-million-dollar idea.
Hang on. Welcome to episode 27
of Hang On, the podcast.
Oh, this is a genius idea.
This is great. All right.
Episode 2. All right. So let's ballpark this one. This is one I found on the subreddit. Not really, but kind of. All right. So it's a dating site, right? Just like all the other ones, except you have someone doing all of your profile stuff for you, and they set you up on all of the different sites. So they set you off on Tinder, on Craigslist, on
Who the hell's
Farmers
putting
Only.
their J dates?
Yeah. Right.
Who the hell's
AOL Messenger.
No one is on J-Date and Craigslist. Like, Craigslist is where you trade couches for blowjobs and or heroin.
Yeah.
You know.
So this is
J-Dates is where you meet a nice Jewish girl to take home their mom, you know?
So what?
Do you think if there was a Mormon dating site, you'd have to like show them your card to like register with the Mormon dating site so they knew you were like a card carrying member?
I mean, yes. Now I have to Google if there's a Mormon dating site because
I guarantee if there's not, let's start the Mormon dating site.
I mean, that's
that draws into question the whole, like, you know,
Mormon singles, ldsplanet.com. Fantastic. Oh, that's an ad. Doesn't matter. Join free. Okay. Elite Mormon dating here.
Is that where you have to pay more to wait? I'm mixing up Mormons and Scientology. So like
You want to date a scientist?
okay with polygamy? Yes or no?
I think it's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I only have two options on this website: man seeking woman, woman seeking man. That's all I get.
How 1990s of them.
Yeah, right.
Prior to that, I don't know what to do with my hands now.
Yeah. I think we need to take a break.
Prior to that, people would go. I remember there was this one in my hometown that I always heard the advertisements for when I was younger. It's called like Let's Do Lunch or something like that. And I think the idea was that if you go watch some movies from the 90s and stuff, you'll see stuff like this. But the idea was you would go in pictures and interview and stuff like that. And then other people would come in and they would try to match you up with people. And then they would schedule the date. They would schedule everything. They would schedule the dates. They would, you know, and you would just meet. Would have had zero interaction with these people prior to you going to your date. So it'd basically be a blind date.
So we can't just take a business idea that's already been done and say, it's already been done. We gotta run with it.
I think there would be a market for that, but your market would have to be for people who are pretty well off. So like somebody's a affluent businessman or affluent businesswoman or
like
whatever the case may be. Yeah, like us. And they don't want to put themselves on Tinder or J-Dates or you know, LDS Planet or whatever. But they still would like help meeting someone. Maybe they're, and then we're basically just getting into Hitch. That's sort of like the same idea. Just,
really?
Yeah. Minus.
I wondered how long before Will Smith popped up in the podcast.
But like, I think there would be a market for that, but it would have to be high end. Like you would have to be kind of all in, and you'd have to be exclusive. Like that would be the thing. It's like, hey, you have to have a net worth of over X amount of dollars to join this.
To get the
you
platinum
have to
tier.
be a 9+. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So we have him come in real quick, right? Like, hey, have a seat on my couch, right? We're gonna do an interview.
I see where this is going. Yeah, but like I think that would be the only way you could sell that, and it would have to be in a larger cities: Boston, New York City, San Francisco, and maybe I think there would be a market for it. You would just have to charge a good bit of money, and you'd have to make it exclusive. I don't think your average person is going to come in and do that. It's just too much out of. So like you would have to have some sort of where you're charging a good bit of money. You're setting up successful people with other successful people / successful men with hot women who want to date men who are successful and not work.
Right.
Or vice versa. Sugar mama and sugar dad is whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I'm
like,
again,
seriously. Like,
married man seeking teenage.
But
you'd have a lot of check boxes there. Like, hey, I live in New York. I'm going to Boston.
And there would have to be absolute confidentiality. Because I think that would kind of be your thing. Like, hey, you can come tell us. You don't have to worry about, somebody finding you. Like, let's say you're just a well-off, let's assume you have the best of intentions and you're just a well-off, like you're a good, good person and you but you're also pretty affluent and like you're higher up in your company. You've started your own company, whatever the case may be, and you don't want to get scammed by somebody off the internet. You don't want to just meet some random person off the internet. Like you want, I hate to call it like a background check, but like you want some sort of background check.
You want all the rigmarole taken out of,
and you don't want your information and photos and stuff on the internet. So you come here and it's a nice office and, you tell us what you're looking for and stuff like that.
Fuji water. And
it's all kept in paper form. No,
I love the fact that that's more secure now. Yes.
But it's kept in paper form, not online, no electronic stuff.
Do you videotape interviews?
Nope.
On VHS?
Nope. Maybe some pictures, but no interviews.
Okay.
And then you set up the dates and then you're going to be setting up, very high end, like kind of all inclusive. And maybe it's even all inclusive. Like you just call it Go Dutch or something. And like, so both people,
Go Dutch.
I don't know, but like both people have to pay in, right?
Right.
And then that's kind of part of the deal is included in your payment of the service. Mm-hmm. We pay for the first date and it's like all inclusive. So, depending on the season and what you're doing, you're going to get we pick you both up in like a limo that we've provided. We take you to the whole thing.
I like it.
And then it's all inclusive. But that's I think the only way something like that could thrive is if it's very exclusive and very private and actually well done.
So how would you?
And I think you would even need to have standards. Like I think if you have a guy in there who comes in 55 years old and they're like, I'm married, I'm just looking for, a side piece, like you just tell them, hey, that's not what we're, because like, I think if you start doing stuff like that, or I don't know, I think that's where you lose credibility and the people who your market that you're going for, they're not going to trust you and they're not going to come to.
So my follow-up question is, if I heard about this some way, I would try and fake a background check to say like, yes, $1 million and marry someone that has $1 million. That way I get the money.
Well, that's why it has to be expensive though.
True. But you remember the Titanic where she put everything into just getting on the boat and getting the room? I would want to do that. So I feel like...
Well, I think you would have people do that, but you can do background checks.
Yeah,
and like
I think you'd want to have a few people that weren't rich and you didn't know. Sort of like that show they had where it's like The Bachelor, but he was really poor.
I don't remember that. But
okay, it doesn't matter.
I trust you.
So maybe like 1 in 10 people isn't rich. And that way you're not really discriminating against non-rich people. But
well, I'm not saying you have to pay, like if you pay the fee, whatever the fee may be, and maybe you have different levels.
Yeah.
When you come in, you're like, hey, I'm not saying you have to be like a multi-millionaire, but like, hey, I make a decent amount of money. I also don't want my stuff out there. I don't want everything on the internet. I feel weird about going. Is there a lot less now than when I was younger? I feel like I kind of grew up kind of before online. I mean, obviously online dating was a thing, but like when I was in my 20s, online dating was kind of one of those things where you didn't tell your friends about. Like if you were on like an online dating website and you're like, and someone asks you about it, you're like, oh, where'd you meet? And you're like, wherever.
Yeah.
And then if you always had that buddy who was big into online dating, there's always plenty of fish, Yeah. Online dating is definitely more mainstream than it was 10 or 15 years ago. But I do think there is a segment of the population that still kind of wants something more private. This is proven with all the box services and the like the Blue Apron and the insert random boxing where you pay a monthly fee or you pay a fee and then they send you a like curated box of stuff to either wear or eat or do. People like that. People like just kind of paying money and then it being taken care of. It makes them feel
Now, is it the fact that they like not thinking about it, or are more people just feeling awkward about going into the world?
Well, I think it's part of it. They don't want to think about it. They're maybe in this case with the dating, they're shy. But then also there's something, it's like surprise. You know, if I'm swiping through Tinder or whatever the case may be, by the time I meet this person and go out on, I've talked to him for some amount of time and I've seen him and I kind of already have like an idea in my head before I ever even meet them for the first time in person. Whereas through this, and if I'm the guy, I'm generally the one who's having to make the plans and do all this good jazz. And I'm kind of like, then the whole time you're like, oh man, did I are these plans too much or not enough? Or like whatever the case would be. Whereas this, you're literally just going where it's already planned. It's both a surprise to you and her.
Yeah.
Nice. And so it's exciting. You don't have to worry about like, oh, this is kind of dumb because you didn't make the plans. They made the plans.
Yeah.
So even if it is dumb and stupid, you guys can both kind of like make fun of it at the same time. And it would be like and you've never seen this person. Like you have no clue what this person looks like or anything about them. So now on your first actual date, you have lots of stuff to talk about. And I think it's just a better experience all in all. So
what would you think if you had someone, maybe like a dating chaperone, who was playing wingman to both people? And I see this working out for people who are scared to meet someone else. Like maybe they had like a bad run-in with a guy or a girl and it didn't turn out the way they wanted to. Or they're just somebody that naturally like clams up on the first date. Like imagine you're the nicest person in the whole world, but you just can't make a good first impression. So you want like a wingman there to be like, hey, like you aren't saying anything. Like, why don't you tell them about this hobby that you do, you know?
Well, I feel like that's the best part about what we're talking about is since you're going in on a meeting with someone and you're telling them what you want and all that good stuff, they can make it's up to the people who are the employees of this business,
right,
to make the date,
tailored to the
individuals. Yeah. So like, let's say
there's two vegans, you send them to like the best vegan place.
And like, what if there's options that are like, hey, group dates, like, hey, I'm setting you up with a group of people. Like this is your date, but you're also going to be on a date with 3 or 4 other people who have similar interests to you.
Nice. Right. And then it's more like a round robin. Like you're going bowling, you're all in the same lane. You're all kind of getting jostled around and meeting people.
And maybe you don't even like end up dating the person that you met, but you met some friends.
Yeah.
Because you're in a big group date.
Yeah.
While we were talking about this, I just had
go for it.
I'm thinking of a real life bachelor or bachelorette, but like in real life.
Okay. So now we're corralling a bunch of individuals in a house for a period of time.
No. So I'm thinking you have a guy, right?
Okay.
And then you have,
let's just say 10 girls. I feel like you're trying to say upwards of 10 girls.
Yeah. But you have a guy and then there's 10 or 15 girls.
I like it. This is the platinum package.
Or vice versa. The bachelorette. I can't ever remember which. Yeah, the bachelorette.
It doesn't matter.
You have the girl and then 10 or 15 guys.
Yeah. Or however you swing. Yeah. Right.
Or even kind of what you're talking about, like the group date type things where you have like 5 girls and 5 guys. And maybe that could even be a thing like you regularly like, hey, you come here.
Yep.
I'm changing lanes real quick.
So I feel like you're getting to 70s key party. I feel like it's a 70s key party.
What's 70s key party?
So 70s key parties in the 1970s was very popular to leave a bowl out. So when you walked in the house, you and your wife would put your car keys in the bowl. And as you were leaving, a guy would take, or a girl would take keys out, and whoever owned that car, they would go home with them.
Okay. No, but all right. So,
business word of the week, 70s key party. I just need to make clear that it was not necessarily your husband.
Okay, yeah.
Come on, Ford truck.
So the same business, right? I feel like the entrepreneuring person would just go around and talk to everybody and find out what car they drove, and then would be the first person to leave, and then would just go find those keys.
Right.
I guess in the 70s, keys were probably a lot more
similar,
universal looking. So, But anywho, right. So same place that is doing, you come in, you give them your information, and they'll set you up on single dates. But they could also have other options, maybe like on a weekly basis, like on a Friday night or a Saturday night, they just do group things. So it's like 10 people, 5 girls, 5 guys. It's not necessarily like you're on a date. It's you're on just a group outing with, 5 or 6 other people. And like you said, you mingle around. Maybe you don't really like any of the girls that you meet there, but like you meet a couple of guys that you're going to be friends with now. And then like you can and then it's not even like, sure, if you meet somebody and you hit it off and you guys get along great, awesome. But then you come back on like Saturday or even call in and say, hey, I really liked this thing that we did, or I really liked these 2 people.
Yeah, I really like Deborah.
And then the 5 girls are like, hey, Deborah's like, oh man, I really like Tim. And then they're like, hey, so you said you really liked Deborah, and Deborah said she really liked you. So we're going to set you up on now an individual date, because there's a lot less pressure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because you're just kind of like hanging out with a group of people. If you're new to an area, which in big cities, there's a lot of people who are new to the area, and they have a hard time meeting friends, let alone like love interest.
Yeah.
So they're going out with these groups, and they could be anywhere from groups of 10 to groups of like 20 to 30, depending on what you're doing. Like maybe you go to like a baseball game and you like get a segment of seats out.
So this is where I thought like Groupon really failed. Like, let's say there was a blacksmithing class, right? You got like 5 anvils. You got like 10 people that can come in and like hammer some shit out, right? That would be great if you just had like 10 people show up and they're like, hey, let's make a project together.
Yeah.
They all do it together. It's all assigned for them. And they knew they were going to do something Friday night because they're part of the service. All right, we'll call it that. Then, hey, like I had a great time with Steve. Hey, Steve, do you want to go watch the basketball game this weekend? Steve's on board. Now you got a best friend there. You didn't even pay for that. You're looking for a single, but now you got a buddy. The other thing is, I think that easily translates over to married couples where they're like, all we do all weekend is sit at home with the dogs. And we really kind of like want to go do something. But some of the things we want to go do, like you said, like, hey, let's all go to a baseball game. But no one likes baseball where you're at.
Yeah.
Or none of the friends you work with like baseball. So that's a real struggle, right? So if you're in a great city like St. Louis that has the cards and you want to go watch the game, hey, these 10 people are going out. We're all part of the same group. We're just going to mingle, and maybe we have a box, right?
Yeah.
And you just hang out in the box.
Well, and I think the thing with I think it easily does translate over to married couples. But if you do it under the guise of dating, so you do it under the idea like, hey, we're setting you up. The idea is for you to meet somebody that you're interested in, and it's a dating.
Oh, that's true.
It's a dating business.
Feeling.
People are going to be more. If I just say, hey, kind of Groupon this, I'm going to say, hey, 10 people. First 10 people to show up, and maybe you can meet some new people. If I'm a single guy, I'm going to look on there and be like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to be at a blacksmithing class with 9 other sweaty dudes. You know what I'm saying? But if it's just also, they have to make the decision, and people have FOMO for real here, fear of missing out. So in this case, you've already like paid. Mm-hmm. And so they're calling you and saying, hey, this thing is scheduled on Friday night. Can you, I guess you'd have to have some way of declining and be like, my grandmother's in town. I can't do it. But you're not making a decision on whether or not, maybe you don't even know what you're doing. Like you just get on the bus. Yeah, you get on the bus and you get picked up. That's why there's that element of surprise, and where people don't have to make a decision. They're just paying money, and then they're getting, like you said, everything is coordinated. Everything is like led and like taken care of by the company. And there's a perfect ratio guys to girls. It's not like you're walking into a bar and there's 30 dudes for every chick. Yeah. It's a perfect ratio. And like everybody there is, like I said, everybody there is under the umbrella of trying to find a love interest. Mm-hmm. But worst case scenario, you have a good time with a bunch of people your age with similar interests, and you meet new friends. I
really like the anonymous feedback, because if I were to go, let's say, sweaty blacksmithing, right? And like, I'm really into Deborah, and I get feedback like, hey, Deborah thinks you're a really cool friend. No chance of dating. I like to have that feedback that it's like, okay, if I see Deborah in another one of these outings, like she's not interested. Yeah. I don't have to play that game. But also, if Mark is interested in Tim.
Don't plan things with me and Deborah, because that's just a waste of my time if I'm. But
what if Tiffany's there and you do like Tiffany, and she gives you one of those tildes, like, need more experience. Now it's kind of like, hey, I don't mind going with Deborah, but like make sure there's Tiffany's there.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I just think it have to be in large markets. Mm-hmm. It would have to be not extremely exclusive, but somewhat exclusive. And it would have to be very private.
Right. No,
I think you'd also have to focus on like your events would have to be good times and have good times, and try to get things that are, I don't want to say one off, but like you need to plan things where people are going to be Instagramming like, oh, hashtag, whatever the name of this.
Okay, so let's say we have this service,
whatever you want to call it, like like you said it, a box of the Cardinals game. Now you have this group of 10 people, who are here at this box of this Cardinals game, and they're going to be with all these new people. Mm-hmm. And maybe you could even join us at like, hey, we want to go to things together, at least to start off, because I feel more comfortable when I'm with somebody I know. And I don't do great with people that I haven't,
Right. That's interesting. So do you think there's a Planet Fitness type model out there where like I sign up, but like I just never go on the dates, but I'm keep paying into the service?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like I'm a card carrying member, and every time we go to the opera,
Fitness, I need to cancel my plan. I've been going in 2 years. I pay $18 a month or whatever it is. I haven't been in like 2 years. I don't even know where the Planet Fitness is around here. I got good.
I signed up for one when I was in California on an internship, and I went once, and I felt real awkward because I had signed up for personal training my first day because they weaseled me into it, and I was like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do this whole thing. And I got home like, I don't have this money, so I called them and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. And then I totally forgot. I'm like, I'm not gonna go for like a week or two so they forget what I look like. And then I forgot I was a member. And a year later, they're like, hey, you got to renew your credit card. And I was like, oh shit, I've been paying for this for a year.
So there's a website called Diaper Mates.
Yep, that's fantastic. Look, one of the things I need to convey is I don't kink shame, but I do find things funny. Like, if you want to wear a diaper, that is totally cool. It's totally up to you. I find that absolutely hilarious.
I'm out.
Is that a deal breaker? So let's say you sign up for an event and they're like, here, put this diaper on. You're like, nah, man. Pull the ripcord. Let's get out of here. What's another one?
Clown dating.
I mean, we were already on LDS Planet earlier, so like.
Oh my god, even better. So, like, do you do each other's makeup on the date? Like, let's say you normally go as a boho type clown.
No. Hang on. Sorry. What if, as part of the service, right?
Yeah.
You go in and now you're like, I don't know what to do. We have like personal shoppers, personal hairstylists, personal makes. So you could come in and then be like, hey, bring, 5 or 6 outfits, like whatever you think you're going to wear.
Yeah.
Or if you want to, we can meet up with you the day before and we can go shopping with you and get you a new outfit for your date. If you're a, girl and you want to come in, we'll have like maybe it's not even on our premises. Maybe it's like a salon. It's just one that because I think one of the biggest things with this is you're going to have to get in with restaurants and salon. If you do the personal, salons and clothing stores, and if you are going to baseball games all the time, try to work out some deal with whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to try to get in with those people so you can get discounts and preferred seating. And like a limo company, like I think you probably should just go ahead and buy like a couple of cars. You need to have your just black car, not really a limo, but for your 2 people, you need to have your party buses for a little bit more people.
Really get in with the Lincolns is what you're saying.
Yeah. And I think the easiest way to do it money wise would just be you have to pay some sort of membership, monthly membership. Yeah. And depending on how much you pay will depend on like how many things you get invited to, how many dates you get scheduled for, whatever the case may be. Or like if you want the services like the personal shopping or, whatever, there'd be different tiers. And then everything else would just be like cost plus some percentage, Like you basically would just be tipping us. Like if the date costs $500,
right?
And because that would be another thing. It's like on the date, you're never spending any money. Everything is paid for up front. So, and it's split. So the date costs $400. You're both spending $200, and then we get 10%, or whatever the case may be.
Interesting. So essentially, you build up credits each month with whatever you're paying. And you get doled out those credits.
No. What you're paying each month is for the services.
Right.
And then when you go on the dates or the group outings, you're paying for that out of your pocket. But it's just like we quote to you, we're like, hey, there's this outing on Friday. It's $200. Maybe here's like a broad schedule of what's going on. See, I kind of like maybe you have somewhere like, hey, here's the schedule.
Right.
Or like, here's a $200 mystery box kind of thing.
Ooh, mystery box sounds fun.
But you're paying $200 and then we're keeping some percentage of.
Yeah. The more dates you go on, the more money we make. So we're very.
But we're making money either way because you're paying your monthly membership, and then maybe there's some sort of initial sign up fee for the initial interview and stuff like that. So maybe it's like $100 initial sign up fee or something like that.
Sense. Now I do like a model, and maybe this is just me really liking more information, but if I really had the hots for, let's say, Deborah, and she really likes blue, or she really likes a certain haircut, I would want the business to let me know. So when I went to the personal stylist, I'd be like, all right, I'm looking for blue shirts, and I want,
Well, I think that's definitely, let's say you've never met Deborah. I don't know what it is with the name Deborah that keeps coming up, but like,
no, it's
but you've never met, does she like to be called Deb? That's the thing. Like, you have your coach, like your personal trainer, right?
Yeah.
Your hitch.
There it
and
is.
They say, hey, you're going out with this Deborah, it's her name.
Yeah.
She likes the color blue. So try to wear a blue. Doesn't like being called Deb.
Yep.
So try to avoid that.
Right. And her dad is dead.
Yeah.
Do not bring up her dad.
Yeah, exactly. You have somebody who's who's coaching you, who has that inside.
I very much like having the preface of immediate family members that have passed away recently.
Yeah.
Like, here are red flags.
Yeah.
My God, don't bring up, that the Cubs won the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. And this was another one.
STD match.
So you said STD match?
Right.
That's actually a genius idea. That's a multi-million-dollar idea.
Let's not spend the millions curing whatever it is. Let's spend it getting these individuals who have made decisions with other people that make similar decisions.
What if you marketed it though as a fundraising thing? You only give like 1% of your.
We don't tell people that's part of the business idea. You just say a portion of what you're paying.
No, you don't tell them only 1%, but like that's what I'm saying. You get people in. You're like,
so instead of race to the cure, you know how people are walking around date for the cure. Now that would be, now if you started dating for AIDS, would you expect to get AIDS on the date, or that the date would be for curing AIDS?
So on a serious note, I do think that would be in our prior business idea that we were just talking about. I do think that would be a selling point. Like, hey, for this month, it's breast cancer month or something, or it's, cancer, whatever. A proceed of the dates you go on for this month all go to raise money for cancer.
There you go.
Or something like that.
Yeah. Like one of the things that you could do with like a group is like a 5K.
Well, and we don't need to make a ton of money off of each date.
That's true.
Like off of each person. So like, let's say the date's $200 and we're only taking 10%. So we're only making like $20 off of you.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also making $20 off of the other, 5 or 6 people. And when I say $200, I mean, that covers everything. That covers gas, whatever the case may be. I think you need to have a thing where people, even after they've met, maybe have like a graduate program. Like after they've already met a person and they're dating this person and they're in a long-term relationship, now they're going out with other people who have met through there on the group dates. Because I think that's the thing. You're going to have a lot of people who are like, I've met some really cool people, but I can spend basically what I would spend going out to an event anyway. And I don't have to worry about any of the planning. I don't have to worry about any of the money. I literally just pay $200. Somebody comes and picks me up in a party bus with a bunch of other people who have similar interests to me and take me around and I do fun things. Maybe that's just a whole, skip the whole dating thing.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying.
But I still think by doing it under the guise of the umbrella of dating, you're going to get more people in who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to this thing. I'm going to have fun regardless. And I'm going to meet girls and guys my age to one, be friends with / 2 possibly date.
So this is very interesting for people who like to go out and do stuff, but you have a whole group of people that just like to stay at home and don't do things. So you're either going to force them to do something that they don't want to do.
Well, they're going to be the ones who are going to go on 1 or 2 dates, meet somebody, and they're going to stay at home together.
Okay.
But then you're also going to have a lot of people and marketed to young people, young professionals who just want to go out with people. Like it's the same idea of going out to a bar or going out to an event, except for I know it's going to be a good time because it's been planned and organized by people. It's not just me going out to a.
So what if? See, it's
then you could also even charge if you had enough people and enough people were doing it. I think you could even get to the point where
Oh, say you have a
Business-
central facility.
businesses were paying you to bring people to them.
Ooh, now that's interesting.
Or
Because you
for
can
advertising, or
guarantee
for what- yeah.
business. Right? Like, hey, you have a party room or something that's dead on Thursdays. Like, hey, give us a discount and we'll bring 15 people.
Yeah, every
Stock
Thursday
it.
or every
Yeah.
whatever the case may be.
See, that's great. Now, I do like the idea because I'm a gamer, right? So I want to meet girls that also play games, but that's difficult to do online. So if I was part of a group and I paid a membership, it'd be nice if they had like a YMCA, not necessarily for like a gym, although I think you could do a gym, but like also has like TVs and stuff so you could show up after work, play a video game with some people. They're all singles, right? You can cut out the bar portion because some people don't like alcohol, some people don't drink, and some people just don't want the randomness of like someone way outside of their range of what.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, because you're going in and you're sitting down and interviewing, and they're like going through the other people that they've interviewed, and you can say like, "Hey, these are the things I'm interested in doing."
Yeah,
it can all be custom done. Like you can go and say, "Hey, like I don't actually want you to plan anything for me. This is what I want to do. Find somebody who also wants to go do that thing with me." You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
because it's all custom. And it's like personal training just for dating in life, you know?
yeah. Oh, I like that. So like, I think of like party games, like Settlers of Catan if you like board games, or like Mario Party if you like games. But like,
yeah, and even
there's
like
got to be something else.
that would be a thing for like the couples, or even people who are like, man, I like board games and I like playing stuff. You could have, rent out a space, insert random thing, bring some board games, or maybe even, if you go up to one of your clients and like, hey, there's a bunch of, I know you're into board games. There's a bunch of people. I've got a good group. I think that you guys would have a lot of fun. Would you be willing to host this at your house? And we'll bring these people over. We'll transport them, whatever the case may be. Like I said, because you're doing it in person and you have individual, I think you need to limit the number of clients per, we'll call them coaches. I think that would be I think if you call them coaches, people are going to be into that. Limit the number of people per coaches there and give the coaches plenty of latitude to kind of make things happen and do whatever they want to do. And maybe even coaches get paid, some sort of incentive, you get a percentage, like a cut of the number of dates people go on. Like,
Nice.
you don't want them to be too pushy, but at the same time, like if you incentivize them planning and making dates and making things happen, then you're going to,
reward when like if everybody on the date enjoyed their time. You get more substantial than if one person was like, oh, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. See, and I think the thing with this is it's not online. And I think that's what people either one are going to hate or one going to like.
Yeah. I don't think people really like online stuff. I think it's convenient and it's way easier and cheaper than anything else.
But this is also convenient because
it's true. We make it convenient, but it is
because we basically do everything for you.
I like that idea.
What if you then added an online portion of it so you could see other like your coach could send you because that kind of gets rid of the whole privacy thing.
Yeah. See, I really like this because it's a business idea that does not require very much investment initially. Like you just need like your buddy who picks out clothes. You need to like talk to a barber. You need a couple coaches up front and then you're good to go.
I think
it's good
transportation. I think providing transportation is key. So you would need to do that. But I think that is something you're going to want to handle in-house, because if you are doing
like Ubers,
if you're doing like going through a limo service every time people are going on a date, that's going to really run up the cost. Whereas if you just own party bus and own like a couple like
you can stagger
cars,
the times pretty easily.
Then you could also, when you don't have dates going on, rent those buses or cars out for profit.
Oh,
I don't know if that would really be
not worth it, but maybe you accidentally start a limo service.
All right. So I've had this idea for a long time. Hey, hold on. Instead of making this like a place where you go and, this is a genius idea. This is great. All right. Instead of making this like a business or an office where you show up and there's people who keep your files and stuff like this, we're going to make this like one of those Beachbody pyramid scheme bullshits. So like you're going to have your coaches who can like register.
Yeah.
And then you can then when they like find somebody or then they become a coach and then like they're coaches under you and then coaches under you. And it's all done like they're just on Instagram. And so they're like, hey, I'm looking for people who want to join my team. I'm certified through this. And then you have big like conventions that people come to, but you have like individual, you like decentralize it. So you have people who become coaches who are just, they work for themselves and like you're not paying them anything. They only make money if they like do the process. And then, you get paid from them. And then if they get other coaches, like I said, it's like a fucking pyramid scheme. If they get other coaches to help people go on dates and like set that up, and then they get paid money and they get like a percentage of every coach that's for them.
There you go. I think we took a very good business idea and broke it down into a way where we get in a lot of trouble for how we set it up. Are pyramid schemes illegal?
No, have you ever seen like Beachbody or maybe I shouldn't use whatever.
There's like a dozen people like, oh, I'm on Beachbody or Avon.
Yeah, Avon. Have you never seen those like all those people on Instagram who like join my team, blah blah blah?
No, I don't do Instagram.
Oh, you should look at it.
Or Twitter. Probably have to start Twitter.
So what it is like you're a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you sell products, like bodybuilding products, and like you do workouts and you show how they work for you and stuff like that. And you get other people to follow you and buy, products from you and stuff like that.
That's fair.
And then they get people. But the thing is, there's plenty of people who would be good at matchmaking, right?
Yeah.
And instead of us only being able to do this in one place, we'd have some sort of like training or some sort of,
So franchising, right? We're the Boston department.
No,
we have like a New York.
Even
branch.
beyond that, there's no like, it's literally just people who want to be a part of the program. And like, maybe we get a deal with some franchises like,
Applebee's.
I was going to say, something nicer than that. But yeah, but seriously, like something like that where you get deals from there or like Groupons or hotel or like whatever the case may be. And then you have these or deals for like buying clothes and stuff like that. Or haircuts, you get deals from Supercuts and Dillard's or
Sears or Macy's.
I get it. I thought Sears went out of business. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how to necessarily monetize that part of it yet. But basically, you have people who plan dates.
Yeah.
People come to them to like be a matchmaker, and then they match them up with people or the groups, just like we were talking about. But now instead of only having like 5 or 6 coaches that work out of this office, you have like 1,000 coaches who work all across the US. And now they've hooked up 20 people. And then they're like, hey, I think you'd be really good at like helping other people out. And so now they get cut. And then
see, I like that the fact that one weekend, if you were like really into paying for it, you could fly to Boston and be like, hey, we got a Boston coach up here that's planned out this weekend, but we're normally from New York or Florida or something.
I think by, like I said, like decentralizing it, making like that one, it's not going to be as exclusive or like what, but you could have a lot more people involved. And instead of having to live in like San Francisco or Boston or New York City to take advantage of this, you can take advantage. Like, is there plenty?
You can have exclusive coaches. Like, hey, to get in my squad, you have to meet these wickets.
Definitely.
Like once a week, we all work out together. We go on a hike together. That's mandatory to be in this group.
Yeah. And then like, I'll take you on, I'll take you and like help you like get your wardrobe and stuff ready for your date. I'm going to help match you on dates. I'm going to learn, I'm going to do the coaching and be like, hey, wear blue. Don't talk about the Cubs. Don't talk about Donald Trump. Like the 3 rules, I don't necessarily know how to monetize it that way because now those coaches are going to be paying for things. And then, so like you'd have to set up some sort of system and have some sort of product, but I think that would be pretty cool. Anywho.
Okay. So moving back, our business word of the week is royalties. So this is the money you owe us for taking our business ideas and setting up shop.
Yeah. See, you schmucks are just buying the podcast or listening to advertisers. So like we don't even have to spend all this money except for the airplane idea. We're literally just doing this to fund the airplane business idea.
That's
until
fantastic.
I come up with a better one next week.
Yeah.
What is the title of this episode?
LDS Planet.
Yeah. LDS, not LSD. That's a different.
Hang on. Is it LSD or LDS Planet? I feel like we're all sitting on a gold mine with LSD Planet. How have we not thought about this?
Maybe you'll go on a date. Maybe you'll fight the keeper. Else no one knows.
Actually, LSD Planet. That's the number.
Yeah.
That's the name of this episode.
Episode 4, LSD Planet. Now, here are some of the trips we have planned.
You never go anywhere, yet you travel the universe. We just play the Beatles over and over again, the fucking Beatles White Album, and keep doing LSD.
The only investment we need is we need a room,
A record player, and the White Album.
It could be really shitty speakers too. Like maybe just even beanbag chairs. Coaches to guide you out of your high. Oh no.
Hang on. Thank you for listening to our show. To participate, send your comments or business ideas to thehangonpodcast@gmail.com. Keep us motivated by subscribing to us on YouTube and iTunes, and tell a friend. This is the Hang On Podcast. It was an honor. See you next week.